Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I think after the news that we have gotten today that the court date has been moved up 2 days, now scheduled for April 25th, warrants this video. And we're going to talk about the potential of seeing a short squeeze coming next week. Court is going to be on April 25th, and you will get a very violent upside move in my personal opinion. Now, nothing is set in stone. Maybe the judge doesn't care about retail investors, but that's not what her history would suggest. So I think at the very least we can expect a couple things, and those couple of things we'll talk about here in this video. And what kind of effect that could have on AMC is, like I said, pretty damn bullish. Now, at the same time, we're going to have an interesting market dynamic going on where collateral that is pledged in these AMC short positions could continue to get squeezed and make it even hard for short sellers to hold off on covering on those short positions. And on top of that, we'll go over the latest information and data that is happening here on the day. So let's kind of get into the situation, jump straight into it, hit the like button, and subscribe to the channel. Also, I should mention it is earnings season. If you guys want to come trade with me live in real time, link down below in the description of this video. So first thing that I want to start with, before we even talk about the court date, is the market dynamic and potentially the collateral crisis that could continue to happen next week. Now, essentially how this works, for anyone that does not know, when shorts take out short positions, let's say they take out a $100 million short position. Let's be dramatic. They take out a $100 million short position. Well, they have to pledge collateral. They have to put cash. They have to put different assets up to back the loan, because essentially, if you're short on a stock, your loss is infinite if the stock were to squeeze. Where it's different, if you buy stock, you can only lose the money that you put in. A stock can't go down more than zero, right? So you have to pledge collateral. Now, based off of how the trade works, if AMC or any other stock for this matter were to go up or down, you have to pledge either more collateral or less collateral. Now, if the collateral you put up, so you had that $100 million short position and you put up $100 million of collateral, just for fictitious numbers here. But let's now say your collateral's down 20% or 10% or more. Well, you have to go out and put more collateral up or more cash. And I would imagine AMC is highly collateral size. Instead of using cash, they're collateralizing stock, because that's a lot easier, right? If you give cash, then I mean, it's not like you're probably not going to get that back, right? They're going to take it for your cost to borrow fees and everything else. If you pledge stock, well, it's a little bit different, because stock prices can go up or down. It's not fixed like cash. So next week, you're going to have major earnings coming out as well. This is only the start of earnings season. And if the VIX is telling us anything, the future contracts on the VIX suggest that volatility is going to continue to ramp higher as we get deeper into earnings season. And when volatility goes higher, that tends to cause stock prices to go down. And you can see how this could become a snowball effect. At the same time, if next week AMC also rallies, at the same time collateral is dropping, that puts a lot of pressure on the shorts. A lot of pressure. Not to mention the cost of borrow rates that we are seeing. Now, I wanted to start with this because I think this is kind of fuel on the fire, more or less. I think with the court date next week, that is the thing that is going to be massively important for AMC. That's the actual catalyst that I believe could give us a short squeeze. And like we went over in the last video, this is a court date about AMC breaching its fiduciary duties. That's literally what is said right here. Breach of fiduciary duties. It was filed on February 20th, 2023. And this is going to be the biggest thing that will affect AMC. Now, if The judge comes out April 25th and says that the settlement, perfect. It's up for comment. It's gonna go through. We're gonna lift the status quo order, and you guys can do your reverse split. I would be highly shocked, and quite frankly, a lot of people would be disappointed. Now, this has been a very public case, a lot of publicity. She's got a lot of letters on this case. She knows how retail investors feel. At least I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that. And really, how AMC did this vote was illegal. It was breaching not only their fiduciary duties, but as you know, DGCL, that rule change, that rule essentially, it's not even a rule change, it's a rule that you're not allowed to sell the voting power away from common stockholders. Which it's funny because APE is only 1/100th of AMC. So how are you going to give them the same voting power as AMC? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So based off of those reasons, I think the judge is going to see things for how they are, and you're not going to see the judge side with AMC. And this is probably going to take a while. I don't think April 25th is likely to be the last court date or the last update that we do get. Maybe I'm wrong there, that's possible. But I do think she's going to side with retail investors. And I do think there is a possibility, it's not set in stone, but I think there's a possibility that they say that this vote was outright illegal and there's going to be a revote with just AMC common stockholders. If that were to happen, I would expect a very bullish reaction in AMC stock. I would expect the stock to rally probably hundreds of percents. And this would take multiple days. It wouldn't just likely happen all in one day. But I do think shorts would rush to cover on those short positions. Because if you're looking at just common stockholders and there is doubt whether this will go through, that's a very negative thing for the shorts. Doubt on this whole thing is very negative because it's not like AMC is a cheap stock to be in a short position. It's not. Cost to borrow rates in, the hundreds of percents. Shorts have lost over 3 times the value that is currently sold short in AMC in just 3 months. They've lost $1.91 billion. There's only about $600 million currently short in AMC. That means the cost to borrow rates are massive, obviously, and they're taking a huge hit on the potential profits any hedge funds would make on this trade. So even if this court date, if there's another court date, this gets prolonged or it's open for questioning or, anything besides lifting the status quo order is going to be very negative for the hedge funds. Literally going to make this trade unprofitable solely based off the cost to borrow rates. And to be honest, again, I don't think that they are expediting this case, even bringing this matter 2 days earlier than when it was originally scheduled for April 27th. I don't think that is because it's a good thing for AMC. I don't think Morgan Zern feels like this should be rushed, as she said in the past, and I believe that is bullish. Now, AMC stock is flat on the day. When this first came out about this court date being moved, AMC ramped up. Let's go ahead and look. About 2.5% intraday. And we've subsequently came down. And I think that has to do with kind of how the markets are reacting today. I mean, Apple's down 1.10%. S&P flushing, towards the end of the day, not looking so pretty here last couple of minutes. So when I look at this from a logical point of view, I don't think it's good for AMC. I think it could cause the short squeeze based off of what the judge says, and really anything at this point that throws doubt, uncertainty on this trade, or just outright deny this trade will get you a short squeeze. Shorts have lost massive amounts of money in just 2023 alone. Not to mention, what was it, 1.5 billion in Q4 of 2022. So they've been losing a lot of money. This is not necessarily a new thing. And AMC stock has rallied about 30% year to date as well. So all in all, I'm very excited and I'm very intrigued why this court date was pushed up. We're waiting on an actual docket and filing from the courts, and see when that is brought forth, I will bring that to your guys' attention. We'll check right now, and it's still not live. Last update we got was April 20th, 2023. So next time we hear something from the courts, likely by later tonight, if not tomorrow, we're gonna get more clarity on this whole situation, and that's honestly what's gonna make AMC stock rally. And I think anything besides the judge lifting the status quo order, quite frankly, makes a stock rally. Now, to what degree do we rally? I think that depends on what is said April 25th. I very much think if this case was thrown out, boom, you're going to see the MOS. If there's a new vote, you're probably going to see a substantial rally in AMC. Not necessarily the MOS, but you'd see a substantial rally. And then you would have to come down to the revote. And if that failed, then you would get the MOS. Now, with that background out of the way, I think it's important to also know the data as well. And if you take a look at AMC's data here on the day, and we go ahead and click on the short interest, you are looking at $678 million worth of short positions in AMC, 26.5% estimated short interest of free float. Free float out on loan sitting at 37.5%, 193.4 million shares that are currently out on loan. Days to cover 5.26, cost to borrow 241.69%, and 100% share utilization. So the numbers over here looking very good. I mean, cost to borrow rates, short interest at the highest levels that they have been at in a very long time. Specifically, that short interest number has never been this high. Even in June of 2021, when AMC stock rallied the first time around, I mean, short interest was like 23%. It was not 26%. And I think that is a big deal. Now, there's obviously been a lot more manipulation as well that has been happening in AMC since June of 2021, in my personal opinion. Even when you look, AMC is on the threshold securities list. That is a sign of what? Naked shorts. So hedge funds are shaking right now. They are trembling, waiting for an update from the courts. And to be quite honest, I think if this were to be bullish news coming April 25th, you would see AMC stock selling off now, because there's typically like a heads up kind of warning, it seems like, to hedge funds when bad news is around the corner. Someone leaks something. So even that sole fact that AMC is not dropping here today, I think is bullish. Now, option activity for the day, not so bullish. 26 orders totaling at $9.19 million. Positive order value of 6%. On the day, not too much actually happened. You did get services PMIs, global and the United States, and that is showing that inflation likely to remain pretty sticky in services. The U.S. data was pretty good, meaning that, you know, there's good pricing power and dollars going into services. Globally, not so much, but in America, yes, and that's a big problem for this market, because the Fed, they're not going to be able to let off until service inflation does come down. Labor reports that we got today as well in the services PMI were also very strong, supporting the case for, again, further rate hikes. And that's why bond yields shot up today, and that's why the markets are kind of negative, right? And that's a factor that is helping to push down some of your large tech stocks that is helping to squeeze the collateral that is backed behind AMC short positions. And hopefully you guys can put together what I'm trying to say here. Next week, if you get these big tech stocks that fall at the same time AMC rallies, that's a very bad situation for the shorts. Not only a collateral crisis, but then you start losing on your actual equity in your short position. That's not good. And I think it's all in the judge's hands, to be honest, from here. Depending on what she says, depending on what happens, that's what is going to drive the stock. And I think it's pretty clear that they did manipulate this vote. That's 100%. Like, there's literally no arguing that. And we read this article in the last video talking about the settlement worth $100 million. And right here, where even Bloomberg Law kind of sides with AMC, which is interesting. It says the lawsuit accuses AMC of illegally letting ape holders, including Intera Capital, which owns 30% of the preferred units, participate in the common vote or conversion vote. Yeah, how does that make any sense? Delaware's corporate laws generally require each class of shareholders to separately approve any changes that would diminish their rights. That includes the dilution, the suit says. Come on. AMC also wrongfully supercharged the apes by directing a stock depository company to vote all 10 million preferred shares proportionately based on actual votes cast, according to the lawsuit, which brought by a pension fund and 2 other shareholders, Class A investors. Meanwhile, Allegheny had to participate if they wanted their votes counted. Come on. Come on. And then the tidal wave of letters we also did go over. The hearing will now come 2 days sooner. And this is really the only article that you're seeing on this as of right now. It is from Bloomberg Law, so it is correct. Now, this is important too. It wasn't immediately clear if Zurn plans to make a final decision April 25th or if the settlement approval timeline will be prolonged. It appears likely, at least, that she'll hear arguments on a bid by one retail investor to formally enter the litigation so he can oppose the deal. Come on. You know who this is. You know who this is, right? Come on now. You know who this is. Brian Tuttle, baby. It's gotta be. It's gotta be. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is gonna do it for this video. When we get the docket update from the courts to know what this court date is actually about and a little bit more detail on what's gonna be happening, then we can more clearly say, like, hey, AMC could be poised for this high of a rally or this could happen. We need more details from the courts. But sitting over here right now, I'm feeling pretty damn bullish. Nonetheless, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.